Feed the Gods, not to be confused with Food of the Gods, is, believe it or not, a Bigfoot movie. But you don't really see Bigfoot that much. No, this movie focuses more on the town and the struggle they go through when they need to feed the gods. The movie opens up with a mother who desperately wants to leave town, but she only has 2 green tickets, just enough for her 2 sons. With no other choice, she gives them away so that they can try and live a normal life. But what is she running from? Fast forward now, and the boys are adults. Their adopted parents died, and they're going through their stuff. Will finds an old VHS tape and shows it to Britt, his brother Chris's fiance. On the tape, they see their real parents and learn of the town Tendale. So they decide to check it out and see if they can find their real parents. They go to the town and split up. Will is goofing around with the video camera and actually catches a glimpse of something in the woods. This town is a tourist trap for Bigfoot, so maybe there's something to it. They make it to the bed and breakfast and meet Emma, the owner, and 2 other guests, Australians there to go Bigfoot hunting. The Australian tourists have hired Pete to take them into the woods. Will wants to go, and Pete seems interested in the tape they found of their parents and offers a trade, but Will can't find it, so he misses out on the trip. The next morning, their car is ransacked, the battery's dead, and the tape is missing. Emma gives them a ride into town so that they can find their real parents, the whole reason they're there. Once everyone has left the car, Emma radios to someone saying that they're still okay.
We're still okay.
Something is up. The group doesn't have any luck finding their mom and dad. No one in town will even talk to them. That is until Will goes to the barber. He informs him that a long time ago, the natives of the land used to give offerings to the wild man, and in return, the wild man would leave them alone. Once the purge happened, when the natives were all kicked off their land, the wild man took half the town. But that's just an old superstitious story, right? The group decided to spend the night in the woods, and they hike deep into the mountain. The brothers fight. Chris thinks Will is a loser, he has no future, and he's holding him back. Will doesn't really deny it, but he says he doesn't need his brother. In the end, they make up and set up camp. In the middle of the night, Britt wakes up Chris. She hears something in the woods. Will is already up and ready for a fight. He shoots into the woods and accidentally hits Emma. Whoops. Emma and Britt try to find help while Chris goes after Will. Will! Brittany and Emma don't make it too far. They get stopped by the barber.
Evening, ladies.
Emma has to keep her cool and act like she didn't just get shot. But she knows that the town won't let her leave. In the end, they take the women back to the cabin, and Peter chains up Britt in the basement. Meanwhile, Will finds a cave out in the woods. Deep inside, he finds a Bigfoot skull. He hears something and shoots at it, but misses. He meets up with Chris, and they both decide to just find Brittany and get out of town. They go back to the cabin to get Britt, and Chris finds the monitors where they record the sacrifices, and he sees his fiancée on the monitor chained to a tree. Here's where we learn a little bit more about what's going on here. Okay, so the town still feeds the gods by giving them human sacrifices. No one in town wants to do it, but that's their only way out. If you sacrifice a human being, then you get 1 green ticket to leave. So they chain them up and play a chant over the loudspeaker, and this lets Bigfoot know that his meal is waiting for him. Well, through a series of very unfortunate events, they all get chained up. Luckily, they're able to escape. Chris, Britt, and Emma make it to the truck, and they're ready to go, but Will needs his evidence, so he goes to the basement to get the tapes. Peter confronts him and says all the gods do is take, and never let him leave, and how he has to pay for the sins of his fathers. It really isn't fair. But Bigfoot takes him out of his misery. Will gets out of the house, He's running to the truck, but Bigfoot steps on his chain. They stare down a little bit, and it looks like they're gonna fight. But Will runs into the woods, sacrificing himself so his brother can escape. They make it to the next town over and talk to the police. Emma doesn't make it, so they're in some pretty big trouble, and the cops aren't buying their story. The sheriff sends an officer over anyway, and he finds the tapes, but it's a trap. The last thing we hear is a raspy voice on the radio saying, "Send help." After the credits, Will wakes up in the cave, but come on, he's as good as dead. But that's Feed the Gods, a really cool name for just an okay movie. I will say I liked Will. At first you think he's just a dumb guy with muscles, but no, he's funny, smart, and heroic, even if he did accidentally shoot Emma. I liked all the other characters too, to be honest. I would say my biggest complaint is that the movie's just too dark. Some scenes were just too hard to see what was going on. I feel like they tried something different than the traditional Bigfoot in the woods story. Some may like that, but for me it didn't quite work out. I would have liked to have seen more of Bigfoot killing people in the beginning instead of learning about this small town. And speaking of the town, what's from stopping all these people from just leaving? If everyone left the town, Bigfoot would probably have to move on to other towns. But I mean, just move out of state, move far away. Or is there some sort of invisible force field that lets people in but not out? Is that why you need to have a green ticket? Who gives out these tickets? The story leaves a lot open, and not in a good way. Watch Feed the Gods only if you want a Bigfoot movie that's a little different. I give it 2 green tickets out of 4.
Sorry I can't hear you over your steroid-jacked body.
It's on that!